Hello, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. It's Saturday as we hit record here, which means it's Star Wars Saturdays here. We are over halfway through my run of Star Wars using Hyperspace D6. Hyperspace D6 uses the open D6 system to emulate the original Star Wars role playing game, which came out in the 80s, which I love. And I am running it set in the Tapani Sector, which is not canon, I think. I think it's still Legends canon at this point. That's a bunch of Star Wars nonsense for this is a place made up for the RPG, the Star Wars RPG by West End Games, and hasn't been brought into any of the TV shows or movies, but it's still fits really well into Star Wars. We're playing after the Empire Strikes Back, after Return of the Jedi, after the Emperor has died by falling down a hole in the Death Star that blew up. So obviously he's never coming back. And I'm sorry, I just always get joy out of saying that, knowing that it's not true, because somehow Palpatine returned. We don't know. I'm sure it's in a comic book somewhere that will be overwritten as soon as any director feels like it. But this is when the New Republic is trying to free the galaxy from the Imperial Remnants. And in the Tapani sector, the Empire still holds a good deal of sway. It is the duty of the player characters, who are members of the rebellion, here, as it is called in the Tapani sector, to run missions and try their best to unseat the Empire and their cronies from seats of power. Where we are now is a perfect place for trouble and possibly victory because we ended the session with everyone at the capital planet, the royal planet, Procopia, as the capital of the entire sector, and has been since Shea Tapani chose it as the seat of his empire, the Tapani Empire, long, long ago. But that's enough about our setting stuff. Let's introduce ourselves. We have a couple of characters, only two players today. It's very excited. It's going to be an intimate session. So let's go. I don't even know if it's around the horn, but I guess just to the left and the right. Let's start from the right hand side of the character keeper, heading to the left. And Dash, if you could introduce yourself and remind us about your character.
Yeah, I'm Anders, he, him. I'm playing Cola Breaker Breck, she, her. She used to be a criminal, now she's a rebel, and apparently some of her old crew doesn't like that she sold them out and took the money, and they're sore losers, I guess. And
No, like double crossing pirates. Dang it.
yeah, typical criminals without morals. It's weird. Yeah, that's it.
Excellent. And then Steven.
Hi, my name is Stephen. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Jody, J0D1, who is a sentient droid whose pronouns are she, her. And Jody gets in trouble. She joined the resistance trying to forward the droid rights movement, so that they're treated more like another species within, the universe, within the galaxy, as opposed to, workers and such.
Excellent. So, as I had said during my little preamble, you are on the capital, Procopia. Some information. It's a verdant world of warm oceans with thousands of islands, both large and small. It only has one proper continent known as Davla. The, that continent is an unpleasant land of fierce storms and active volcanoes. In the brief summer months, nobles and politicians will hunt the elk like Baranda there, but normally they keep their uh, urban centers on the islands. The island known as Estale Island which is the sector capital, is a beautiful canaled city built in the ancient Tapani style of domed towers and temples. That is where uh, you have landed. And if you remember, and if you don't remember, I'm going to tell you, the Vosentas had ferried all of you as well as a hut by the name of Nonum. And Nonum asked or secured Captain Leona Mack and her services to ferry him somewhere else on the Vosentas, the Shangline's bulk hauler that is in deep, deep trouble. Um, and so they left you. You all planning to get back to your base, which is on Obas, because you had to carry and ferry a droid brain, a PQ-98 modulated droid brain, which is necessary for the defense of the base. So, um, we know that Sean was captured by the Empire during your last mission, and your other compatriot, Sai, the Zygerian, has taken off, telling you that they'll catch back up to you, being a bit evasive about where they wanted to go. They seem to be a little upset about something. And so it is just the two of you in this lovely place. So it's the summertime here on Procopia, which means that Procopia is the social epicenter of the sector. During these months, the entire planet is a playground for Tapani nobility who descend on its many palaces, resorts, and fine restaurants, balls, and casinos. Non nobles, that's you guys, visiting Procopia during capital season, uh, find that there's no room at the inn. And service at popular resorts and dining facilities can be troublesome. You do have some credits to your name, but it's going to be an interesting little mission for you on Procopia. You do have an old friend, of course, Ondon, who is a rebel like you guys, but there's no guarantees that you could easily reach him or if even he is on Procopia. So, with all of that preamble done, I will ask, what do you wish to do?
So I'll turn to Cola. Cola, do you have any contacts, here on Procopia?
I know this is not the kind of place I used to hang out at.
Um, let me. Yeah, me neither. I don't know anybody here. Let me put the word out through the droids and see if I can't find something in that way. I'd suggest, low life people, right? Maybe you can put up the word through the low life people, and there's got to be gangs here somewhere. They're just more hidden. Um, so you can put the word out that way, and we can see if we can't reach them. Don't say we're looking for the resistance, of course. Use coded language so that, we're looking for friends who might be able to help us get off planet. So,
I appreciate the caution, but I'm not quite that stupid, despite being an organic,
right, right.
says Cola as she takes notes. No. Uh,
I imagine that you guys are, let's just so you have a sense of space around you. You're in a square. There are un, many, many very well dressed people with quite a few attaches and bodyguards who are traveling to and fro. There seem to be some conference going on. There are entertainers who are putting on a little performance. There's music playing from several of the shops. Uh, the music is refined. There's nothing. Everything is genteel. The smell of wine is carried on the air as well as occasionally you can catch the wafting aroma of foods from some of the food carts. And the two of you look very well. Jody, that you maybe if you shed the um, poncho, you might be able to fit in. But Cola, you look very, very underdressed.
Yeah. Um, I think it sounds like we're splitting up, like we're going in different to different places, probably.
I'm probably what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to take anything that would make me look conspicuous, like not a service droid, and putting it into the equivalent of luggage. So it looks like I'm just portering things around. But I'm going to talk to the droids that would be servicing the rich here to see if, I can make contact with anyone that I know from the old, one of my old hangouts on Spaceport Black Orchard.
Yeah.
The, those droids have kind of proliferated a little bit, and that's how I would find friends. Um, and you know, Cola, if you have anything you'd like for me to carry, I can do so. Otherwise, I'd suggest, you should keep whatever you need on you.
Um, think. Ooh, um, maybe you should hold this for me. And she takes her heavy blaster and kind of stashes it in your luggage. It's probably you're probably less likely to be searched than I am.
Right. Do you have another weapon other than that?
I have a vibro knife, so I'm not unarmed. But
Um, so I have a holdout blaster. So I think I'll
cool.
hand you, I'll pull out the holdout blaster so that's more easily concealed
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and hand it to you so that you're
Hmm.
not without a blaster. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. I'll take
Okay, so Cola has a holdout blaster, and Jody's trying to find some old droid friends or contacts through your mesh network. Cola, what are you, now that you are at least a little armed, what are you looking for in particular? Every place that you've been in your life, I imagine, where the rich people are, there are people who aren't rich who have to do their dirty work. Is that where you're headed or somewhere else?
Yeah, I think because if we're in a fancy, relatively fancy part of town, you can always find your way to a seedier part of town and then continue in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is a touristy place, at some place there will be like a map or something that, oh, here's this place and here's this place and here's this place, and then you go to a place that's not on the map, like this is a part of the city that's not marked on the tourist map, so that's probably a neighborhood that's next to an industrial area or something like that. That's going to be a good
Nice.
place to
Yeah,
start.
cool. Let's hit some dice. So if
Yeah.
you'll hop to dice, then
Yeah.
what we'll have you do to try to locate. I think this is going to be pretty easy. So we'll set a difficulty of 10,
Hmm.
and you're trying to navigate the city. So that feels like a streetwise roll.
I'd be happy with that. Where's Streetwise? Yeah, that's
Streetwise is underneath
knowledge. Yeah.
knowledge. Yeah.
I have 3 dice, which is what I keyed up just a guess. So I'm just rolling it, and that's 11 and
Okay.
2 on the Destiny die.
Fantastic. Sure enough, you either check one of the little hollow maps or pull something up on the common feed on your common device, and you're able to navigate to a place that's described as a quaint a quaint area for industrious folk who work in the service sector. It is located near the power plant, and it's also near one of the rivers that is not marked for servicing. One of the canal sets that basically that is where things are washed away that they do not want to deal with anymore. And as you move from the beautifully manicured streets of Procopia's main capital into this quaint workers' village, you see that when you're using Streetwise, you don't see any outward signs of crime. Everything is clean, even if it is smaller, older, a little less well kept. The streets, because you guys arrived during the day in this little village, the streets and the lining ways over the canals. I imagine that we've got a bunch of canals that lattice work through here, so the houses are 4 to 5 stories tall. A lot of tenement buildings, apartments where people are living, large families. So there aren't many people on the streets, but you see that there are many eyes and windows of folks who are not workers, perhaps children, older folk, and the like. And you do see that there is a pub that seems to be a little dead at this time of day, mostly open in the hopes that some folks might stumble in. And as you enter this place, you see that there are a couple of well dressed folks, house nobles, lower nobles, perhaps here, slumming it, as it were. Um, it's a proper pub, so there is a bar, there is a you don't see any service droids here. It looks from the cast of the server who's giving lip service to those couple of nobles, to the woman behind the bar. They seem to have a similar cast. It's probably a family run little pub. The smell of food is obviously fried, um, and the ale and wines that they have on offer are not terribly expensive. What do you do?
Yeah. Um, I'll have like I'll sit at the bar and order something to eat, something to drink. Um, Try to like engage the bartender in some conversation. Try to feel things out, like and that sort of thing. Look, check out who else is coming and going. See if this is the right kind of place to find uh, some uh, some criminals.
Cool. So, she takes your order. It's a quick little menu display that is one of those like scroll displays you pull out and you can look at the food and snap it back together again. Brings out a bit of food, a small bowl of some free on offer nuts of some kind that seem to be local to Procopia. Chat with her for a bit, try to feel out where the criminal element might be, and she goes from the amiable bartender to gains a little bit of a concern in her eyes, and she says, "Darling, this is summer season. Anything that you might want to do that could get you in a spot of trouble, the profit is not worth it. There are many, many eyes about, many, many people concerned about security. And you have a lovely face, but you look like trouble. I clocked you the moment you walked in here. If you're not careful, you're going to end up in a dark, dank brig.
Hmm. Uh, well, that's too bad. I was hoping that summer season would bring the easy marks, but if that's not the case, then maybe I should look for some people who are trying to make it less likely that people end up in deep dark holes.
She nods slowly. There are people who look out for us here. Then she stops talking as you both hear the door open, and walking into the pub is a woman who is dressed in club wear, uh, some kind of fishnet top. Um, it all could be something you could pull off, but you catch that it's all very expensive, just made to look like it's cheap and tawdry. This is the individual that walks into the place. She walks in, she scans the room, sneers at the four nobles who are here, and heads to slide up to the seat at the bar right beside you. Do you have any Alderani wine? She asks, expecting no. Sorry, miss, we don't have such things. Of course. Just give me whatever people like here. Of course, right away. She turns and looks over at you, and we'll cut away from you. Jody, you are reaching out to your network, your old Black Orchard friends and those who might have connected to be friends of friends. Some might say you have friends everywhere. Let's see how that pans out. How do you want to reach out? I think it might be easy to connect with folks, although you're a long way away from Black Orchard.
True, but it's actually exciting to me to see how far the network has gone. Um, so I'm wandering around with my little fake restraining bolt and my luggage and going from porter to, from site to site. I think I'm in the equivalent of the docks or receiving area where these ships would be quartered, basically, would be placed, and then all the fancy people would come off and go about their fancy people stuff to do. Um, so I think I'm looking through the database. I don't think I know a whole lot of, I don't think I depend a lot on physical looks because droids could change the way that they look physically. But I think
You've
I'm
yeah,
depending. Yeah,
you've done that, so yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. I think I'm going to depend on more along the lines of what could I electronically find just names of people who names of other droids or just put out, I'm looking for this. Let's see.
I think search makes sense. I
You
noticed that
think so?
you're near search and you're good at searching. Yeah,
Okay.
so let's call this. I'm going to set a moderate difficulty. Failure means that no one's around. But if you do quite well, then maybe there'll be people who remember you specifically and directly.
Perfect. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Okay, that is a 15 on the dot. Woof. And nothing
Nice.
special on the Destiny die. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So 15 on the dot. You search around for a bit, not worried about how people appear. And you find, gosh, I'm just looking through some of my old Black Orchard stuff. Gosh, this has been around since like 2022? Really? That is, sorry, that is just blowing my mind that we have Black Orchard stuff that far back. Did not remember that. Um, just checking a couple more things.
Yeah, no problem. So I think I'm going from, site to site. I think some of the droids are kind of like kick off. You're not important enough to be here. Some of the other droids are like, a little bit more receptive. So,
Yeah. And you end up, gosh, this, yeah, you find a ping droid that isn't one you recognize directly, but carries the ping. Remember the pink and purple color scheme?
yeah, the Ping Cola, right?
Yes, the ping
Yes.
droids that you helped to unionize.
Yeah.
This is what the ping droid looks like, if that helps jog memory. I think you already remember, but I
Yeah.
like that picture anyway. And the ping droid is working at a small little garage that services some of the higher end speeder and speeder bikes. And when you come near, it seems to recognize you, um, and hops down from the stool it was standing on to work on the underside of a particular speeder to make its way up to you, and dips his head in respect, in a almost like a little bow there.
And I think I dip my head as well, and say, brother, how are you doing?
I function well, sister. What brings you so far? I have not seen anyone from our union in many, many years.
Oh, that's too bad. I was hoping um that the group would have proliferated further. I'm of course still spreading the word and trying to make sure that um, we're we're all recognized within the societies that are being built. Are you have you been here long?
I have been here for 6 months,
Oh,
3 weeks, and 2 days. This is my first summer at
are,
Procopia.
are they treating you well?
I am a unionized worker. I am treated as well as anyone else.
Great, that's really good to hear. Um, so I'm looking for people. You said that it had been a while since you had um, seen anyone from our union. Have you um, seen anyone who might be sympathetic to our cause, um, so that I can talk to them?
No, I have had a number of troubles with identification myself as a non organic. The union carries more weight than my existence. The nobility here has differing opinions on our value and use as individuals. Some houses are more tolerant and interested in entertaining the idea, but the ones that are in power have no interest in droid liberties.
Well, remember, the fight doesn't have to always be public. You can keep things on the down low and hidden until you find the right location, and then you have to work very hard to make sure that those who are amenable to our ideas and our freedoms are then exposed to them and, understand what's at what's at what's at risk for us. Um, so I appreciate you doing the good fight, and um, can you tell me if there's anyone here who would help us travel someplace out of the beaten path quietly? I'm looking for more quiet transportation. And if I can't find a known friend who can do that, maybe you can help me find someone who would be able to help.
Little camera eye focuses on you when you start delivering the message of things. You can tell that it is fastidiously studying you. In fact, you get the impression that this ping droid, because you don't know them, this is their first experience with you.
Hmm.
They're a little awed by you. Uh, you've been around ping droids or pit droids enough to be able to read some of their general emotional reactions to things. And this one seems to be drinking in everything that you offer as advice, like they're getting it straight from the source. If you need passage off of Procopia, I can most assuredly, without a doubt, help you to find passage off of Procopia.
Um, this is quiet passage so that no one else knows.
Yes, of course. There are a number of automated transports that
Oh.
ferry not far from here to bring bulk supplies.
So I will need one. uh, It is not just me traveling alone. I will need one that is also capable of carrying organics. Um, I
Yeah,
could
there's a
travel.
bit where it kind of draws back a little bit
Yeah.
of carrying organics. Not that it hates organics, just more of a that presents a problem reaction.
Hmm. And I understand this is kind of to be expected, as a being a bigger ask. Um, but you know, we do need to. I have found allies in our cause, and I'm working with them. So I will need a more specialized. Just a droid transport isn't going to cut it.
That does present a bit of a problem. Does the organic need to stay alive?
Yes, yes,
Ah,
unfortunately.
I see, even more. A
Uh,
dead body, if not noble, could be transported. Hmm. Hmm. I would like to put you in contact with the harbor master.
mm.
He is one of us,
Oh,
not
good.
unionized, unfortunately. But I have spread the word to him. I am sure that we are only days away from an agreement that will be amenable.
So I think I'm going to go back and make contact with the rest of my team, and I hand ping 083. I hand him a communicator and say, um, "This is how you can contact me." Um, and I'm going to go work through with the rest of my team. We'll sync up. Let me know whenever you secured a meeting with the harbor master, and we will go forward from there.
Of course, J0D1, I will get you the meeting with the harbor master immediately.
Oh, thank you. Do not press too much. Of course, that would make it look like it's an urgent thing. And while it is urgent to us, we don't want them to know that. It would draw too much attention.
I will not ask questions of why you need this, but I will make it happen.
I greatly appreciate your discretion and your efforts in this endeavor.
And he seems very excited, and heads back and takes his very first vacation day,
Good, good.
which has been negotiated as part of his union contract. So Kala, uh, oh, we'll give you a couple more minutes. Sorry,
Yeah.
Anders.
Why don't I go ahead? I'm going to leave and investigate this harbor master a little bit on my own.
Ooh, cool.
Um,
That
before
sounds fun.
actually before actually contacting Cola, I want to know more information about this harbor master. Um, like I trust Ping, but maybe Ping isn't the best judge of character and is overly excited. Yeah.
Yes, these are all true. Then, if you want to investigate the harbor master, uh, it would be most easily done with a streetwise roll, but you could probably also do a search.
Let me think.
A search would get you generally available records on the harbor master that you could compile and try to understand a bit about the profile of that harbor master. A
Okay.
streetwise would give you scuttlebutt on of how easily they are amenable to making extra profit.
Um, how about if I try to do find an information broker, and I want to do a bargain where I trade
Ooh.
information I know about Nanam the Hutt and how he has become an enemy of Ganas the Hutt. Um, I don't want to put Captain Mac at risk, but I want to share that information with a broker who could then share information with me about what the harbor master is like.
Ooh, that sounds fun. Yeah, there's an info chant that advertises their services, right? Why would you be secretive if you're just trading information? Um, and I need to find that person.
Infochant's a great word.
I do love that name. Um, we had an info chant character. Where are you? I gotta find that character. Well, maybe if I search within this. There you are. um, his name is Salvatore. Um, and I don't know if I can move his picture over or not, but I want to try. Nope, that failed. Okay. Salvatore is human, which makes
Yeah.
things easier on Procopia. He has long blonde hair that he slicks back and keeps straight with a part down the center. A full, well manicured beard, he fits in well with a number of the well to do. But you can tell that he keeps himself from looking quite as nice as a noble. Um, so he tries to dance that line between somebody who works for a living but does well for themselves and the higher up nobles. You find Salvatore. I think he keeps shop or does his business in a more public area. I don't want to go with a restaurant. What was an interesting place for him to spend time in?
How about a casino?
Ooh, that sounds fun. I like that. Now, this is a casino that seems very safe. Um, Lots of bright lights, number of Tulik Tagruta dancers entertaining, music that uh, bubbles through is upbeat, a little more playful than the refined music that you heard out in the square. And it's pretty busy. Like this place is full.
And I think the patrons here aren't really loud and boisterous.
Exactly.
They're having a good time, but they're refined. And like instead of having bid screens on the wall that might show a match, they have like a hollow table that
Ooh,
shows,
I like that.
like a little robot. boxing match or maybe a pod race or two or something like that because it's a little bit more upscale.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they're too. While back home, these folks might be more demonstrative. This is this is politics. This is summer season. You can't act up. But you find Salvatore. He is when you come up to him, he's participating in a small game of sabacc. Um, did you reach out to him, or did you just find he's advertised this is where you could be found?
I think I worked my way up, talking to different people about like I'm in need of some information, and as a droid, I have access to a lot of information, and I'd like to make a trade. And they say, well, the person you want to talk to who has good information, and eventually worked my way up to Salvatore.
Cool.
Yeah.
So he knows you're coming, and he's looking at his little cards. He does a little like flip just a couple cards up to look at his hand as he's looking across at a number of people. There's one noble who has several empty glasses near him, and he keeps pushing more credits out onto the table and laughing, staring at anyone but the people he's playing with. And Salvatore is seems to be playing an intense game. When he notices you approach, an actual droid, who are you acting on?
Rich,
Oh, did I
oh, okay.
did I stutter there?
I'm
Sorry.
sorry. I think you froze for a little bit. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that. So he
Yeah, yeah.
good. Am I back? Am I clearer? I got an internet unstable note. Uh-oh. Trying to shut things down. I'm getting notes that
I
my
can hear
internet's
you.
unstable. Okay.
Yes,
You can hear me okay? Okay.
but your nose seems to be freezing jet.
Let me turn off the video
Are
for
you doing
just a
that too,
minute.
Anders? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting the same thing. I'm getting some stuttering. We'll see if it clears up in a bit. Can you guys hear me all right? Like, is my
Yeah,
audio
no,
okay?
voice is roboting as well.
That was fun.
Did you intentionally drop, or was that just it
No,
just
it
dropped you?
just
Oh,
like it just dropped me and then immediately brought me back up and said you're recording. Um, can you guys hear me now? It looks like everything cleared up.
yeah, you're
Okay,
perfect.
sweet.
And it was amazing because you dropped so quickly. I
I
barely got a word
know.
in with Anders. It was like out, in, and then everything came back.
Yay! Cool. You approach him. He's playing intently. Seems like he wants to win some money, and then he slides out of that concerned card player demeanor to look over at you. So who's using you?
Um, that's information you'll have to pay for. And I'll let you finish your business here, and then we can go have our own business.
Won't be long. He plays a couple, and someone's like, "Oh no!" And he pulls a bunch of credits in and um, asks someone to count that. He's not gonna like carry that many credits off the floor, and the noble with all of the empty drinks across from him seems a little annoyed, and so Salvatore walks over and offers some of the money back to him, and the noble, of course, is never would take such a thing, but you get the feeling that maybe the noble went a little further than he should have, overextended himself a bit. And then Salvatore will make his way over to you and say, but let's walk and talk. What do you think? I know you don't need the exercise, but I do.
No, that's fine. This is a very useful place to have meetings, and there's lots of people and information to be gathered here, so I don't mind mingling.
Good. So,
Whenever we go to walk, I will take a step behind him so it looks like I'm his protocol droid.
he seems so much more comfortable with that, like appearances. Less of a he insists that and more of a he sees you take that step, he recognizes it and gives an approving nod. And it's very loud. Well, it's refined, but it's still casino. So you can tell that he's taking a circuitous route through a few of the hallways, not far from the lavatory and quieter areas of the casino.
Um, can we talk privately here? These places are notoriously monitored.
He reaches into a pocket and pulls out a very small, you've seen these before. It's a little white noise generator droid. He clicks a button and it starts to float and hover near him. This will take care of any eavesdropping.
Oh, good, good. It's a nice operation you have here. To get to the point, I'm looking for some information about the people in charge here. Um, the movers and the shakers, as it would be, not the people coming in, not the visitors, the locals. Um, and I can provide you with a list of some of the people I'm interested in. Um, and this is Jody playing a little bit of a little bit of sabacc with him. Not just showing the hand and saying, "I want to know all about the harbor master,"
I
but like
know.
providing a list. But I think that this is I provide a list of the people who are in charge here, but I think I give him enough of a opening to know that I'm interested in the harbor master. That's where I want the information from. Um, and so he feels like he can read me. Yeah,
Cool. Let's see how you pull that off. I think that your approach is appropriate for the situation, but I think we both know this is maybe the first time Jody's gone this way. So I'm going to say it's a moderate difficulty. To
that
seem
sounds
fair,
good.
you said you wanted to bargain, so you're pretty good
Yeah,
at that. Let's see how it
yeah.
goes.
Okay, so let's roll. Oh, okay. Moderate is fine. I got a 19, and I think a moderate is 15,
It
and I got a
is.
5 on the destiny die.
Ooh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Before he answers, we cut back to Kala. Kala, this little blonde girl in her club clothes that probably are worth a whole lot of credits, who has derisively asked for whatever the best wine that this place carries. She turns to you and she just very forwardly, because in the Tapani sector, people don't touch each other. Um, she reaches out and she traces her finger along that indentation and that little tattoo that you
Mhm.
have by your eye and traces it down to your chin. Cybernetics?
Um, I think cola. Um, ooh, you might need some if you don't move your hand.
She smiles like that is just the most interesting response. I'm from House Malantha. I would recommend, little girl, that you don't threaten me.
I'm not threatening. I'm just telling you what's going to happen.
Give me some more information about what's going to happen to me, little girl. I'm intrigued.
Did she move her hand,
No.
or is she still touching me?
I think at this point she kind of dabbed the little
Yeah,
piercing
yeah.
there and then traced down your neck, but she's left her finger there, like daring
Mhm.
you at this point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to pull out my vibro knife and just stab it into like the bar. Uh, I know how to use this.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome.
and I don't give a flying carp what house you're from.
Are you trying to intimidate her?
Um, yeah, I guess that's what I'm doing.
And what do you want? Do you just want her to back off or
Yeah, I just want her to realize that she's in actual trouble. That yeah, maybe she can. Maybe someone will. Maybe I will get in trouble afterwards, but that's not going to help her right now.
it's true.
That's all.
This in this very moment, you are saying I am a person who will do harm to you even if there are repercussions after, and that is
Yeah.
fantastic. Well, with that tone and the vibro knife, I'm going to say it would have been difficult to, but you escalated effectively. So we'll say this is a moderate difficulty for you to intimidate this Melanthan noble.
And I will roll my 5 dice of intimidate and squeak. No, crap. That's a 14, but a 6 on the destiny die. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So you jam the vibro knife into the bar and tell
mhm,
her, "Yeah, I will cut a bitch." Um,
mhm.
and she does pull her finger back. She is non-intimidated. She is delighted by you, and she lets off this little almost girlish giggle of this is the most interesting. And she says, "Oh my, that is such an exquisite little. Everything I have is ancient. This looks like it's only a few years old." And she reaches and kind of strokes lovingly the dagger. "May I touch it?" she says after having touched it, now asking for permission.
Yeah. Oof. I think Cola realizes that either she'll have to do like real harm here, which will like put everything in jeopardy, uh, or she could try to take advantage of this.
Hmm.
I think the latter is what she's going to do, even though she's not nearly as good at being smart and tricksy as she is at being scary.
I
Apparently, being
know. This is the
scary
girl who
doesn't
carries around a big gun.
help. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think, I mean, she's not going to try to be seductive because that's not her thing.
Sure.
Uh, but I think she'll try to play into this fantasy that this noble clearly has about, oh yeah, slumming it with the scary locals, that sort of thing. Um, so um, um, yeah, sure, you can touch it. Want me to show you how to hold it?
And she turns to look at the bartender and says, "Whatever she's having on my tab. Yes, please." And she's very
Yeah,
excited. She wants to know. She's never held a vibro knife. She starts babbling about all I've ever held are these ancient daggers. And um, a lot of people say that we do blood sacrifices, which would be so much more exciting than just carrying it. Um, and yes, she's very intrigued by
yeah.
this offer to be able to, like, you're going to teach her how to hold a vibro knife. So she'll be
Yeah,
like,
and
"Do I
I
stand
think
up? What do I do?"
yeah. So Cola will like push a table aside so there's some space, and like show her like demonstrate a couple of like basic grips like reverse hold and that sort of thing, and a couple of incredibly basic knife fighting moves, and doing the whole thing with like, oh, your posture like this, and touching her a bit, and that sort of
Awesome. So when you clear and you do a couple of moves, she hops off of the stool And of course, you're drawing like you're whipping a vibro knife around. So the nobles who were kind of trying not to pay attention to what's going on, they're
Mhm.
watching a little bit. And this girl, she says, "I am Baronet Maladeval. You will all pay your fees immediately with a nice tip and exit this place." And they all quickly like pull out some credits and start paying off their tabs and get out before you're able to get Baronet Mala Duval engaged in some kind of knife fighting tryst. Uh, she laughs. They're all a bunch of weaklings. Don't worry. They won't bother you, I promise. They're Calypsons.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
She says they're Calypsons. House Calypso. Yeah, what do you
Okay.
care? It means something to
That
her.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't mean anything to Cola, and she plays into that, like showing that she doesn't know, she doesn't care.
Ooh, that's even more exciting to Baronet Mala Duval. The bartender, she now is like, oh, this is gonna be trouble, but I'm not gonna deal with this. And she heads off and starts like cleaning some things. The server kind of disappears, and this little pub is empty, save for the bartender occasionally, just around enough to where you know she's present, and
Mhm.
everyone's pulled back to work on side work and prep things for the night rush when folks get off of work. Have
Yeah.
you killed anyone ever before? What is your name? What do they call you? What's your street name?
Ooh, think she'll give a false street name. I think, um, well, back home they call me Scorpion.
Delightful. Have you killed anyone before, Scorpio? May I call you Scorpio?
At Scorpion, there's an N at the end. Uh, um, Surely you don't want to hear about that sort of thing. You're a nice, fancy baronet.
I've ordered men to their deaths before. Don't think that I'm some naive, innocent child. Scorpion. Some might say that Hasmalantha crushes scorpions under their heel.
Oh yeah? How would you crush me if I did this? And kind of grab her and like in a way that I could put the vibro knife to her throat. Not actually like
Yeah, yeah.
threatening, but that sort of thing, and then like letting her go again.
Oh man, she lets out this little thrilled gasp. Um, and you could tell like her nostrils flare and her eyes are wide, and there's that bit of danger that she's surprised by and delighted, and she says, um, I I what should I do? You said you were going to teach me to fight.
Yeah, you should do this. And so I think, um, yeah, Kola will show her like a way to get out of that kind of situation.
Okay, well,
Put
it
your
takes her
arm up
several
here.
times to get it down.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that we'll cut away from you teaching her self-defense techniques to Jody and Salvatore. I know a great deal about the harbor master. It's very useful to know a great deal about the harbor master. What are you offering on trade?
Um, and I tell him that I was just on a I'm offering information about part of the cartel that is moving and shaking within this sector. Um, Cartel is a leading, information about the huts, that I have some information about that. So I tell him Not specifics, but this is generally what I know and what I might be able to help with.
He seems intrigued, and even asks, "Are you knowledgeable about the bounty on a particular member of that cartel?"
Um, that could be a part of what I can provide to you. Yes.
Well, I'll be forthright. The harbor master cannot be bought.
Okay.
Many, many attempts have been made, and that harbor master is specifically programmed to adhere to protocols. Any attempt with the harbor master to attempt to bribe or coerce them will not only fail, but the harbor master will not hesitate to send the authorities after you. However, the harbor master, in its diligence to follow protocol, questions no orders from a knight or higher of any house.
Ah, so that is the direction that we have. I understand.
It is the only successful direction I would recommend.
And is that how you get around them?
Of course.
Very good. So in that case, how much would it cost in order for you to help me with a command from one of your knights?
Well, if you happen to know where Nonum the Hut is, we can call that an even trade.
Hmm. Um, so the information that I have for you is, and I tell them the information. We just landed on this planet, right? So I tell them, of course, Nonum and Gannis are at odds of each other. Nonum escaped, and I was on the ship that helped him escape from our last location, and provide the details, of course, that are very public about how we were able to get away, and that they have one of the people in custody. Um, and I say I would also be very interested in trying to get that person out of reprimand out of jail, out of custody if you have that kind of pull. Um, so basically, I'm providing him an early set of information. I'm not providing him with any information about Captain Mac. I think it is public knowledge they would know what the Vosentas ship is like. Um, so that information I can provide. Any information about Cola, myself, Sean, all that kind of stuff, I think that that's public.
Hmm.
And um, oh, I also provide the information that Nanam had a vizier who was killed in the scuffle.
He marks down all of this. You can tell that he's not yet extremely knowledgeable about the situation. Probably saw the bounty, made note of it. Now, oh, this is an opportunity. He thought that that was something in the free world, so it was a bit out of his jurisdiction, as it were, and it's fallen into his lap. He takes down the information with a great deal of interest. I will put you in contact in trade with a knight who recently reached out to me with a need
Oh,
that I'm sure someone of your skill set could aid him with.
good. That sounds very beneficial for both of us.
Yes.
Um, and I will let you know if I'm able to fulfill this knight's need. And if I'm not, I will not do anything that would make you look bad. Just so we
Excellent.
know where we are. Yeah.
Yes, we do. We do. We do.
Um,
Well, I consider that a transaction then, what you have offered
Absolutely.
me. Good.
However, I'm going to provide him with additional information, um, so that we can be business associates in the future.
Oh, delightful. This is a knight from House Cadrian. He's a knight known as Rikus Kilrin. Here is his location. and let him know that you've spoken with Salvatore and you're there to negotiate to potentially help him with his little problem.
Perfect. That sounds fantastic. And
Good.
I think um I'm going to uh excuse myself and wander around the casino a little bit and then take my leave to go locate Cola.
Yeah. He reaches out to take his little white noise generator droid, clicks it off, and heads back to the Sabak tables. Cool. Uh, Kola, how far do you let this go? Because Baronet Mala is putty in your hands.
I think at this point, Cola is just she knows Jody is incredibly dependable. So she's going to depend on Jody like arranging whatever they need to have arranged. So I think she's kind of getting swept up in just enjoying this like trying to get the baronet to bring her to a fancy restaurant or something just so she can have a nice meal and that sort of thing. Just try to milk this
Oh
for
my goodness. Yes.
for
So, yeah, you teach her some self-defense, then you start like probing her for, hey, like maybe you act like you're a little hungry, and she kind of, well, not kind of, she slams the food at this little pub. Like, it's not even enough for her to pay attention to what you were eating. It's just, oh, yes, well, this is nothing. You head out. She has this speeder bike that's been sitting there untouched. Like, the keys are in it. Um, and she whisks you back to, uh, over several canals, and you end up in this very exclusive area, and you're now a trophy.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, she's very excited. It's obvious that there are people who know her. So when you show up with her, this is like she's creating some scandal.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, and this is the like 14 utensils kind of restaurant. Everyone else here is dressed in finery, and she's some club kid, and you're Cola Breaker Breck, who she refers loudly to as Scorpion. Um, Very proud of your street name. She doesn't say this is her street name. She just calls you
Yeah,
the Scorpion over and over. How is it that Cola reacts in this very different world, where everyone seems to be watching you? Um, and there's some people who are like clocking that you could be trouble.
yeah, yeah. I think like she genuinely doesn't care about the nobility. She's not impressed with fancy people, but she's going to clock if there's people there who seem like they're like if she, I think she's going to look for the people who look like they can actually handle themselves. Like if there's someone um, who, if they perceive her as like a actual physical threat, if they're acting in the way she would, if there was someone there who was dangerous, like how do they position themselves and that sort of thing. Um, that's what she's looking out for. Otherwise, I think she just plays up being fish out of water. So she's like intentionally, she's not like trying to use the right utensils. She just grabs whatever she would grab and eats and like grabs food with her hands and that sort of thing, and has loud opinions about stuff. Like really playing into being um, someone who does not belong there. And I think she, uh, because she doesn't want to get into genuine trouble, I think she wants to, because she assumes the baronet will be talking about the knife thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think she doesn't want to be discovered concealing a holdout blaster. So I think she pulls that out and like puts it on the table next to her plate, just so that it's obvious that she has it and she's not like trying to hide anything. And if
Yeah.
someone comments on it, it's
When you like
just
slap it on
like,
the table, there's a like a
yeah, yeah,
gasp from someone nearby, and Mala just says, "She's my bodyguard."
yeah. And
And
she like speaking with her mouth full and like, what, you people don't carry blasters? How do you stay safe?
Mala is this is one of the greatest nights of her life. You have a feeling that maybe her family is here, but she sat far away from them. But you see someone who has a similar facial features, older woman, a prim gentleman who seems very unhappy about what's going and can't stop watching. And you catch Mala glancing over there every once in a while, but never long enough to be caught by that. Um, it's yeah, the blaster move just sets her eyes ablaze, and she once you look like the food is starting to you're not asking for more food or more wine. She says we should go dancing next. There's a really good club not far from here. Will you come with me, Scorpion?
Sure, sounds good. Um, we're leaving right away.
Yes, right away.
And she will like grab like the equivalent of grabbing a couple of bread rolls and just stuff them in her pockets. Any kind of food that's like she can, and as they're walking away, like reaching over someone to pick up some food from the table, just to annoy them a bit extra.
That's great. Yes, you get several disapproving looks, which only thrills Mala more. And right before you leave, you catch her just staring right at who was probably her like parents, just stare
Mhm.
right at them, like daring them to do or say anything before the two of you head out to her speeder bike and head to Club Divine, which is a zero G club that's um, very showy and loud, and there are a large number of recreational drugs on offer. It is very exclusive, and there is like a line of the people who are attractive enough, probably if they're allowed in, but she's the kind that can go in through the noble's entrance and brings you along as her plus one. She doesn't declare you as a bodyguard, but she's there to show you off to a number of her friends. And there's the one of those like um, horseshoe booth areas where she pulls you in and introduces you to a half dozen people who are all her age and all dressed in provocative club clothes. And when Mala starts asking you for like dangerous stories, do you just make shit up or do you start telling Star Dog stories?
I think she mixes up. She picks details from things that has actually happened and puts them into a more fanciful um, context. So there's she uses the truth to but she embellishes with so she's not giving away specifics.
Awesome. So you are maybe like, do you think that Kala starts getting used to this, enjoying this? Like, is she playing it up? Is she having fun?
She's definitely having fun, but she's also like she's not a face like a con artist, but she's worked with con artists, so she's picked up like a thing or two, and but she's playing to an audience of one. It's just the what was the name, Marla?
Mala.
Um, Mala. Yeah, it's all about like keeping her entertained and interested. Um, and that's the only thing she really cares about. But she does take the time to enjoy herself. Like it's fun, both like visiting this weird world that where she doesn't belong, but also like taking advantage of these stupid rich people. That's part of the fun.
The the casual way that Mala's friends talk about things is pretty offensive. They it's obvious that they think of themselves as far above folks of your caste.
Hmm.
And while Mala is thrilled by it, there are a few members of her little friend set who make like little niggling remarks to try to assert some dominance over you. How do
Yeah.
you handle that?
Um,
Like, do you let it fly by? She doesn't seem to clock that they're.
uh,
It's the
uh,
thing of like, oh, of course, someone like you kind of situation of, oh, of course, one of your ilk. One of them uses the word ilk.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
how do you handle
yeah.
that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, think, hmm, I think I need to. I'm going to roll a die here to see.
Okay,
Just going to roll a single die to see how much this bothers her. Highest bothers her a lot. Four.
dice.
Yeah. So she's getting a bit. It it doesn't fully like get under her skin, but she does want to push back a bit. Uh, So she'll take the opportunity to needle them back when they when they get into a discussion about speeder bikes or something. She has like practical knowledge that they probably don't have.
Oh no,
Uh,
they don't.
so she like undercut them by oh they're talking about those fancy things, and she can tell them that oh the motivator on that one is a bit weak if you don't you need to adjust it this way and that sort of thing. Like she'll try to get them back by just having other types of knowledge, things that they don't know.
Nice, nice. So you needle back, but do it on a I know more about this particular thing than you.
Yeah,
And there's a member of House Rena. Her name is Kylan. That's how they say Kylan, and she's the one who was needling and being a little bit of a mean girl to you. And when you very obviously point out that she doesn't know nearly as much about speeder bikes as you, she gets upset and invites a few of the girls. Oh, I need to go to the restroom, and like they're gonna go talk about you and Mala. And Mala thinks that's the best thing ever. Like that is super good in her book. That oh, I hate Kylian. Come, let's dance. And then she grabs your hand and tries to lead you out to the zero G dance uh auditorium, which is of course in the center of the club. And this little booth looks over all of that stuff, so you guys can just kind of step out into the middle where you would be in the
yeah,
middle
yeah,
of
yeah.
the air, but you float out. Do you let her drag you out there?
Yeah. Is the dance floor crowded or is it just like
it's
a
it's
smaller
this
room?
like giant zero G shaft,
Yeah,
and so it's less crowded than moving around on the regular gravity type thing,
yeah,
but there's a possibility of people being near, bumping into you potentially.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she'll go out on the dance floor. Uh, And I think she, I think because at this point I think Cola is looking for. This has gone on long enough. She's had her fun, and she's looking for some opportunity to slip away uh, and
Great.
contact Jody to see if
Awesome.
yeah. So
So,
that's kind of why I was interested in how crowded things were.
yeah,
But she
no, it totally makes
can hang
sense.
around. But if she gets the opportunity, she'll look for a way.
Well, it turns out that as you're looking for an opportunity and excuse, you happen to notice Jody is here, one level below. And Jody, you're approaching the third level bar at House Divine or Club Divine, where a particular knight, Rikus Kilrun, is seated at the bar. There are several, like he has a number of little shot glasses that he turns over after he finishes them. And, well, how do you approach Jody?
So I think what I'm going to do first is on my way here, I'm going to send a message to Cola saying, I have a lead on getting us away, getting us transportation. Um, it's uh, s- someone in power provides us with uh, orders to leave, and we will be able to leave on some of the ships that are needed. I'm meeting with them now, and I give a location. And then I proceed into the dance hall itself. I see Rikus sitting there with the shot glasses,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I think, uh, oh, I, I assume this is an upscale joint, right? So I walk in, and I'm going to leave. I've been carrying this luggage around, and just like at the casino, I take my luggage and I register it with the coat keeping droid at the front, right, and take my number, and then walk in to see Rikus. And I think I uh, walk up behind him, wait respectively, uh, as would be expected of a droid,
Mm-hmm.
until he acknowledges me, and then I say, Salvatore sent me.
Good. What's your designation? You obviously know who I am.
J0D1. And I
Look,
assure you that I can be as discreet as possible.
I trust Salvatore. You're here to help me with my little problem.
I do not know anything about your problem. I'm here to do my best.
Hmm. What do you want in exchange?
Um, Passage for me, luggage, um, and one other off to a location of our designation. This would be your command through the harbor master, and no questions asked, no knowledge uh, recorded of our passage.
Well, if you can make this go away for me, then that's easy enough.
Well, let's see. What is the concern that you have?
I need your word that this does not leave the two of us.
Of course, and if I can't help you, if I can't help you, I will let you know. Oh, I may need to hire other people to help. Uh, but I will let you know beforehand.
Desperate times. I, this afternoon, partook in a duel against a rival of mine from House Barnaba, who has been an irritant. For 2 years. Aled insulted my honor, the honor of my house, and so I challenged him. It was not authorized because Aled is important to a particular delegation. I defeated Aled fairly, and then he escalated. He refused to offer me the honor of winning the duel, and I killed him. I need someone who can remove any evidence of what transpired.
You need a cleaner. Um, there are several options here. Uh, the easiest option for my approach might be not to prevent anyone from knowing about it, but from making sure it looked like someone else killed your friend. If we can hide it, then you will not be suspected. Is that an acceptable outcome? Or would you rather this person just not ever have been uh, involved? They just disappear. Disappearance is difficult because there's a lot of surveillance.
There is indeed. If Rodri, one of Aled's sycophants, is blamed for it, I would be in your debt on top of this. But whatever's most expedient to keep my name and my family's name out of it.
I will need details from you about the location, um, any potential witnesses, who were your seconds, um, just to be thorough.
You are in luck. Rodri is the only second. I had no second. I needed no second. It was not authorized. We did not follow protocols. In fact, it took place near a canal in an alley. There was likely surveillance of some kind, but there was no audience. I think that's why he kept pushing, is that there was no one there to shame him.
And where's the body now?
I pushed it into the canal, and he'll
And
give
where's
you the
Olive now?
location. So that's Alid. Alid's dead. Rodri
Oh, I'm
is.
sorry.
It's okay. Rodri is the second, and he says Rodri ran. I'm not sure where he ended up.
Okay. Um, I'll see what I can do. If I can't succeed in this, I will let you know. I will try my best. Um, but, you know, there are certain circumstances here that are beyond my abilities as a droid. You have to understand. Um, so if anyone else involved, I will get your clearance from them first, for them first. And if I can't succeed, I will let you know so that you can hire someone better.
My compliments to your owner. You've been programmed well.
Um, that is quite a compliment. Thank you. And I will walk away, um, and step outside and try and make contact with Cola just to make sure that she
Sure.
knows.
Let's
Yeah,
check in with Cola because
yeah.
maybe she's going to make contact with you before you have to do such a thing. Mala at this point has, because of the zero G, she occasionally like puts her arms around you, and it seems like she's starting to try to turn this into a bit. Um, Romantics, maybe not the physical,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
intimate.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight it. Um, I yeah, I'd probably encourage it a bit because that's still fun playing into this. Um, and I think she has mentioned at some point that um, someone might try to contact her and she'd need to step away, that sort of thing. Um, or that someone might try to contact her, like she has her comms unit and that sort of thing. Um, Trying to make it sound a little bit mysterious, but not like super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's very
like, for,
interesting to her. She's very
yeah,
interested.
yeah, of course that doesn't work, but yeah. um,
So
but I
mysterious.
spotted. Did I spot Jody down on the floor,
Yes,
or
you
yeah, yeah,
certainly did.
cool. So I see that Jody has been in conversation with someone, and now um, she's alone. Yeah, I think I will like grab my comm unit as if someone had just tried to call me, uh, and just like squeeze her arm a little bit and like touch her cheek as and point to the comm unit and like step off the dance floor, um, and then call up Jody. Um, Jody, and try to like describe where she. I'm like 2 floors above you. Don't look. Um,
You see Jody
uh,
twitch a little bit and then,
yeah.
stop. I'm actually at the coat droid starting to collect my stuff, and I kind of stop for a second and step
Mhm.
back and say, "Great.
You have something set up.
Um, I have a potential job where we can um try to hide a murder, and if we do so, this will put us in favor enough in order to, with one of the royal houses, they're the people who are kind of in charge here, and it will put us in favor enough that we can get transportation off planet.
How long do you think it will take? Is it a quick job or?
It will be scrubbing. Uh, uh, the hardest part will be finding the one witness, which is another member of the house. Um, that one witness would need to be disappeared. The body would need to be disappeared, and any surveillance would need to be disappeared. So that's the difficulty level it would be. If we do so, it would be beneficial. He, our patron would owe us a favor if we were able to make it look a particular way. But otherwise, I'm not sure if I certainly can't track down this person by myself. That's why I'm talking to you. Yes.
You receive a comm bleep, Jody. PNG 083 is trying to reach out to you.
Oh, okay. Um, I say I'm going to, I need to know your situation, but I'm getting a call on the comm right now. Let me take that, and we can meet up someplace.
Yeah, I'm a bit entangled. I will um, contact me when you need me, and I'll make arrangements.
Okay, so I'll flip over to PNG.
I've secured a meeting with you with the dockmaster.
Fantastic. That all sounds good. Um, when is the meeting?
The meeting is tomorrow, during off cycles.
Great. Um, I will see about, uh, give me the information. I'm really appreciative of your efforts here, and I will be in contact if there's anything further that needs to happen.
Of course,
Thank you, Ping.
it was an honor to serve you.
Um, Reach out to me anytime that you need to. That comm unit should work in a way that you should be able to reach me and where I am in this sector.
How very exciting.
Guard it carefully. And I hang up, and I'm going to call Cola back and say, we've got a day to track this guy down, hide all the evidence, and get off.
That sounds like a rush job, but yes, we'll get it done. Um,
Um, so I'm going to give you all the information.
yeah.
Rodri of House Barnaba, is the person we're looking for. If you can find them, they went on the run. And if anyone knows how to find people on the run, it might be you. Um, and that's the first direction that we need to go.
Yeah. Has any of the people that Mala has had around her, has had any of them talked about House Barnaba?
Oh, yeah, one of the group is Barnabas Noble.
Oh, yeah, I
He's the one who
can.
brought them all the drugs.
um, I might have a connection I can use. I'll see what I can do.
Oh,
Um, I'll be in
good job.
touch.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I will go back out on the dance floor, and
Well,
when
she's already gone back to the
yeah,
like
okay,
dancing by herself felt lame, so she went back to um
yeah,
the area where everyone else is.
hmm yeah. I'll meet back up with her and see if I can get some information out of this person from House Banaba about like anything that's useful, like where they hang out, and like if they were the person who brought the drugs, that's kind of a way to talk to them about
Mm-hmm.
something that I also know something about. Like, oh, this is good stuff. Where would you get this sort of thing? Where do you hang out? Like, trying to make it seem like I'm trying to get a hookup with them
Mm-hmm.
for that sort of thing. But actually trying to get information on um, any kind of anything that would be relevant for finding this road.
Cool. Let's see you. Sounds like a little bit of a bargain, unless you're actively trying to deceive. Convince is under
Um,
deceive, so maybe it's deceive.
it's three dice either way, but
That's true.
I think this is more deceived probably because I'm trying to conceal why I'm doing this.
So it's going to be if you want information that will let you find Rodri, I'm going to say that's a moderate difficulty. However, um, Mala's backing your play, and she is giving you a die of help. She's
Oh,
probing this Barnaban noble, like, oh no, stop, no, this is fun. And Tomos is the Barnaban noble's name. Come on, Tomos, oh, please tell us about it.
I will spend a character point for one extra die.
Okay.
Um, I'm rolling five dice, and I'm glad I did that. That's a 17, but the destiny die is a one.
Oh, sweet. I love it. Oh man. Destiny dies one. So you and Mala connive together to get Tomos to tell you where the House Barnabans they're all over. This is summer season, but you eventually find out that Rodri is um is a friend of Tomos's and he lists, oh, well, here where these are because you and Mala kind of put him on his back heels as he starts listing off where some of his friends and Barnabans he knows about. And uh, he tells you where Rodri is, but says, Rodri's in a bad way. He saw something. He wouldn't talk about it. I gave him some party favors to make sure that he would forget the experience entirely. And then tells you, and Mala senses, oh, this is what we want from your reaction, and asks where they could find Rodri, and they'll take some more party favors to Rodri, she promises. But now Mala's involved in this. Like she's hooks in and definitely wants to go with you and kind of doesn't like take no for an answer. So
Mhm.
that's my
Yeah,
one on a destiny die.
yeah. I kind of assumed that would happen sooner or later, and I think I go into like to make it seem like I wasn't that interested in that information. He saw something gruesome. Here's something gruesome for you, and I'll tell a story about uh, something bad that happened on the job. I did one time with some person who got really badly mangled. That sort of thing.
Ooh. And of course the um Kylan, she says, oh, of course something went badly when you were on a job. Throws in a little dig before Mala. And then she says, I know how to use a vibro dagger. She taught me. So, Kylan, we have to go. And yeah, do we jump cut to Kala and Baronet Mala Duval and Jody? Like trying to roll up on this Rodri individual?
Probably, but we're also coming up on time. So
Yeah. Maybe that's where we pick up next week.
How about we make a good stinger, which is we walk up on it, it gets complicated, and then we'll stop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a good stinger, complicated, and we stop. That sounds fun. Yeah, so the place where you end up going is out of the main um city where you guys have been hanging out. They ran, Rodri ran for a good bit. So you end up, I'm trying to find the name of the city again. Atal Island. You end up going to another island and find the place where Rodri has been located, where Tomos told you is well secured by Imperials. That there are at least a squad of stormtroopers who are parading around the grounds of this estate, and that'll be our complication. Is like you guys on a speeder and maybe other PCs are in with you. We'll determine that later. It's mostly from the speeder looking over the the glass windshield, and you're looking across, come to the estate, and you see one of the I can't, it was just in Andor. It's one of the little like transport type ships that's patrolling around and above the place, and that will be where we end things there. Uh, two character points for each of you for our fun little jaunt. Let us jump to stars and wishes. We start with wishes so we can end with stars. Who who has
um,
a wish
my
today?
only wish is like we didn't get a lot of time together, but that's not a huge deal. But and I hope we get more opportunity for that next session.
Hmm.
Um, and Yeah, I want this thing with Mala to get messy and complicated.
So I have a question about Mala. She's a baronet. Is that high enough? Is that higher than a knight or lower than a knight?
Higher. Yeah, it
Okay,
goes
that's what I
goes knight,
assumed.
knight, baron,
Yeah,
lord.
yeah. What I kind of want to see is, we go through all this trouble to help out um what's his name?
The
Rikus?
knight? Yeah,
Yeah,
Rikus.
Rikus, and do all this stuff and then find out, oh well, Nala could have just done it. You
That
know.
is that is 100% true.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of want to see that happen, but after the fact, right? We go through all this effort. I think Mala is helping us, and she's with us, right? Yeah,
As her speeder.
yeah. I really like the idea of having her tag along and be kind of like a fan and, being a contact and all that kind of stuff. That's good. Yeah. That's stars. Never mind. Yeah.
Oh, well, if we're done with wishes, we'll go straight to stars. And you went last, so you get to go first. So what stars? You stars?
Well, yeah, that one. I mean, I really liked how you made this messy and complicated. It wasn't just go book a freighter or anything like that. It was, oh, you need to make favors out of favors out of favors. And, you know, it was like, oh, you have a hanger on. And whenever the dice ended up saying, okay, something bad happened, it was like, oh, well, that bad thing that happened is actually that she wants to stay and hang on and be
She's the
involved in
bad
all of it.
thing. Yeah.
That's all beautiful. Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
Huh.
It felt suitably Star Wars and also a little bit of Tapani, so I'm glad that it worked for you.
And of course, I liked how, you know, Unders leaned into that and like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep making this more and more messy. That's great.
It was delightful. That is a star also that I share with you, Andesh, for the way that you had Kala playing up the fish out of water and leaning into the complication. It was fun. Andesh, did you have any stars you wanted to share?
Yeah, that was super fun. I think we were really in sync there about what that should be. That complication with Mala and how that should play out. So I really enjoyed that. Um, I I really like how Jody is always uh, pushing the droid agenda, but always working on that. I think that's interesting. It makes things interesting um, to focus the droids in that way, and just treating them as people is good when that's not like the how Star Wars and the characters in Star Wars, like in world, generally do it. So I think that's it makes for an interesting spotlight on. And I think Stephen, you do that really well.
I really enjoy Jody as a character, and I appreciated Steven you bringing back some Black Orchard stuff that had me. It was tickling my member berries. It was fun
I
to
had to, I,
dive
you
back.
know, I had to figure out what the name was. I remembered it was like Black Star, Black Spire, Black Orchard, or something like that. So I did a Google search real quick while we were getting ready, and I'm like, Black Spire, I think is one of the Disney locations. Like,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, nope, that's not it. That's what's stuck in my brain. So I had to search around a little bit. But luckily, you have the fantastic wiki that told me exactly what it was. Yeah.
Yay, the wiki paid off. Woohoo, that's
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
Good stuff. Cool. Well, thank you all so much. This was fun. I knew coming in, two superstar gamers, we were going to stumble around and find some stuff. And we did. I really appreciated it. I liked Adesh Kala. Like I threw her in a very, I would imagine, unique situation, and seeing you react to that. Yeah, I was like, oh, you could totally
Super fun.
be mean and terrible to her, but you leaned in. And also, I was surprised that Andesh, that like, I don't know if Kala had an agenda of what to get out of her. It's like, yeah, free stuff. I'm gonna steal the Brols, but just kind of enjoying the moment. It was neat. It was really neat. It
Yeah.
was almost innocent in a weird way. Of like, maybe this is an experience that Kala's never gotten to have, where the guile wasn't necessary. And I thought that was
Mhm.
fun. It was fun to see her in
Yeah.
that situation. I also enjoyed Jody's reaction to someone who could be maybe a little bit of a like worshiper, follower, and how does Jody react to that? So that was fun as well. I enjoyed both of those sets of reactions. They were highlights for me. But I could go on, and I shan't. So with that, we'll bring this session to a close, and we will pick up next week. Thank you guys so much.